I am so freaking excited to share our curriculum for the next 12 months of homeschooling. I am really, really excited, particularly about the book choices, the diversity that we have. The opportunity for rabbit trails is just sending me a little bit crazy. I have never been this excited about a curriculum ever. So I cannot wait to get in and show you through. Welcome. My name is Tiffany and this is Into Life Homeschool. If you are looking at my channel and wondering what the heck I'm all about, I am super passionate about child-led learning. I love homeschooling, so there's lots of homeschooling content on here, motherhood and organization, because organization has changed my life and I love sharing with you what has worked over the last couple of years, and also how I'm improving that, because we are always evolving as a homeschool and you have to constantly, move with those changes, and organization is something that needs to be constantly changing to how you live your lifestyle. And that's the main point. We're trying to create a homeschooling lifestyle, something that allows us to live our normal everyday lives in amongst all of our learning. That is what I'm passionate about. That is what you're going to see. If you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I could not be more happy to have Blossom and Root curriculum in my homeschool, finally. It is a wonderful curriculum. I won't get too much into the behind the scenes, the whys, the hows, all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to dedicate a video to Blossom and Root. That is how much I love it. And there are so many wonderful reasons why. So I will be definitely creating a video around how I organize it with Freely, my homeschool planner, digital, because there is a lot in this curriculum. There is a lot to this curriculum. It is wonderful value, but you need to know how to sort the information so that you get the most out of it. Blossom and Root, we are using it for a couple of subjects. We're using it for language arts. We are going to be using it for science, for some of our science. We are going to be using it for some of our art as well, and our geography. So I have purchased a bundle for Blossom and Root, and I don't normally do that, but I did it because I loved all of her wonderful ideas for this particular grade level. I have purchased grade 4 or year 4, and I'm going to be using it for my grade 5 and 2. The reason for that is that it is completely adaptable, and there is definitely room to make it work for older grade and make it work for a younger grade. So I purchased grade 4 simply because I loved the books, the contents, and the focuses. It worked within what we were looking for in our goals and our vision for our homeschool, and that is exactly why I purchased. This is as extensive as you want it to be, basically. She gives you the opportunity to go as deeply as you want with this curriculum, or as lightly as you want to, as gentle as you want to be for a younger grade. The contents of the novels, however, are more mature, but not too mature for my grade 2 students. So my daughter is going to love these novels, and in particular my son is going to love the mythology and mythical approaches, all of the art in these particular books. He is going to be super excited. So I'll take you a run through very quickly of the books that we're going to be covering for the language arts. We're going to be reading Echo Mountain, Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, A Wish in the Dark, Finding Langston, A Wrinkle in Time, Ramayana, Delaire's Books of Norse Myths, and A Child's Introduction to Greek Mythology. The reason I chose Blossom and Root for the language arts was I really liked the gentle approach to notebooking. I really liked that it was very purposeful with its writing assignments. I really liked that there was definitely room for my older student, my son, to be able to move to, you know, higher up if he needed to. He could elaborate and he could grow on the assignments. And my younger student, my daughter, she could definitely just go gently through it, and we could definitely adapt the lessons to make it more simple. Now for the particulars of this where it won't work for my son or my daughter, or possibly just my daughter, I have some other supplement work for her. So I've already looked through it. I've already planned that out, but I find that my kids really enjoy working together where possible. We've tried going our separate ways with our work, and it never really, it doesn't feel very nice. So where I can, I do really like to do things together because it allows for different points of view and questions that, you know, one of my children are very open with their questions and really like to ask questions, and another doesn't, sits back, wonders, but doesn't voice their worries or concerns or anything like that. So often they really do help each other in their learning in that way without even realizing it. So that's why I really love to include them. And even in the past, the reason why I find that my daughter is able to be able to do this sort of content is the fact that she has always insisted being included in my son's lessons. So inadvertently, she has already kind of covered the things that she needed to cover for her grade. The focus or the theme for Blossom and Root for level 4 is heroes and myths, and I think that is wonderful. That's definitely going to be you know, analyzing characters and breaking down those characters in the books that we're going to be reading, and finding the hero and how, you know, the process of the author has taken to tell that story, and analyzing those kinds of things a little bit more. We've never really done a huge amount of analyzing the storybook itself. So I think that will be really lovely. It's usually just been about the actual story itself, which it will be. We will be analyzing that too. But I like the approach that she has taken with this curriculum in particular, because I feel like that is definitely something that will be relatable. You know, the sense of some of these characters just being like everyday people and having to step up and take on some extra challenges and overcome those challenges, and how they go about doing that. Some will be far-fetched, but I imagine some will not be as far-fetched too. So I think that'll be wonderful for them. So as I mentioned in the last video, our Homeschooling Favorites, this was a fantastic curriculum for us. However, it was quite time consuming, and she has really taken on a lot of reading since this. So although I really enjoyed it and I really appreciate it for what it has given us, I have decided to just finish this one off and continue purchasing the readers from the next level. But we're going to be moving over to Explode the Code for our next phonics work. I'm not entirely sure where she's at with Explode the Code, so I've purchased the level 4, and we'll see how she handles that and cater to, you know, what we need to. These are about $20 a book, so very, very affordable and lots of fun to kind of work through as well by the looks. So we'll see how we go with that. I've also got targeting spelling. So these are great, just little supplement workbooks, just to make sure we're kind of hitting the areas with grammar and spelling and all of those kinds of things for the age appropriate work that we're doing. So that's why I feel totally fine with using the language arts that we're using with level 4. And it's just kind of anything that I feel like might have been left out for grade 5. We can revise through these little books, and the sizes of the activities are very small, and we can just kind of pick and choose what works for us with these kinds of things. Okay, for science, we are doing Blossom and Root again for science, and the focus is actually going to be on physics and engineering. And both my kids have been really enjoying the projects that we've been doing in our co-op, which have been focusing on engineering. And I think that this is going to be really good for us. Now, that is not something that I have a whole lot of confidence in teaching for science. So I'm really grateful to have a guide. Normally I'm all there and I'm all across it. Especially the nature focuses. But for this particular one, I did want a guide with it, and I like this guide. I've looked through it already. I've looked at the experiments and the activities that we're going to be doing, and they are definitely suitable for both of my kids. But there are elements there that I'm thinking that my daughter might lose interest in. So I have some backup activities and projects that we can do should that happen. But overall, our focus will be for this year, physics and engineering, and we're going to be looking at a lot of profiles in science as well, which will be really great because my kids really enjoy that kind of thing. They loved, if you saw my last video about our favorites, they absolutely adored the Jane Goodall biography book. My children absolutely adored that. So we'll be doing a couple of those. One will be focusing on Helen Keller. I cannot wait to do this one. We have some really great science approaches and some activities that we're going to be doing, which will be wonderful for that. Another one that I got, which was from the recommended book list, but not necessarily part of the curriculum, was Girls Think of Everything. So this is something that I'm going to be going through, particularly with my daughter. I think she'll really, really enjoy this. And then we've also got just our energy book, which is going to be used as our reference book, and also the atomic, oh, I can't pick it up. And also the Atomic Adventure. They had two choices. I chose this one because I felt that normally we really do like photography, but I felt like this book will really break down a lot of the big ideas that are behind this and make it feel a little bit more approachable, particularly for my daughter. But definitely there is some great information in here. So cannot wait to start that. So for Blossom and Root, I have just printed out the notebooks. I really like the notebooks too. They're fantastic. Normally I'll just kind of ignore that, not print it, save the paper and use our just normal exercise books. But I like the way it's written out, and I like that it's kind of got some work, like lab worksheets, and it gets them kind of thinking in a pattern, particularly for this kind of stuff with the experiments. It really helps them kind of take the overall lesson and the takeaway, make note of the takeaway from that lesson. I will be going through in depth in every subject, exactly how we're doing it, how we're structuring it, and you know, what I'm thinking of it along the way as well. So for geography, we have done something a little similar to this before, but I'm really looking forward to doing this again as my children are a little bit older. They're going to take on way more from it. And I really like the way that this has been done. So we're going to be doing Blossom and Root for geography. There are a couple of other elements I'm going to be throwing in with that as well, because that's how I roll. But I really, really liked this particular approach with Blossom and Root and how they've created their little worksheets for the week's country in focus. I've just found these and put a plastic cover over it. So these were actually in the back of the language arts book. So I actually printed this off separately because I want to have it on display in our shelf so that we can see it as we're adding to it. And it'll just create this really lovely book for the end of the year. So both of my kids have one each so they can do their own work. And I think they'll really enjoy that. So obviously mapping, and then we're going to be working our way through this amazing book. I love it. This is definitely going to be a keeper. So this is Cooking Class Global Feast, and it is awesome. It has everything broken down for breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and even snacks as well. They've got the flags, which is just amazing. What a great idea. Really easy, step by step. My kids are going to be able to do this fairly independently. My daughter is quite competent in the kitchen. She does a lot of independent cooking. She loves it. My son likes cooking, but is not as enthusiastic about it, but he will really love this. So at the back, they have some really amazing like little bits and pieces that we can use, which is stickers. There's the flags for the countries, stickers, and also I think it's like a little, so then there's little cards here that we can cut up, which are in the language I'm hungry. So you can say I'm hungry in that language, and there it is there. So we're definitely going to need to look that up to hear the pronunciation of that, because we're not going to be able to figure that out. But it'll be a little bit of extra fun for us. So I'm really excited to try this book. It's definitely going to work in with a couple of my other geography favorites, which I will do a video on. It's really going to work well with some of the books that I have. But on top of that, I'm going to be using Soul Sparklet's Glitter Bombers membership club with this, because she has just released a global art hop curriculum, and it's going to go so beautifully. And she's got amazing options for the various capabilities for the students. So for my younger daughter, she will use the younger adapted art projects for that particular curriculum. And my son can just go that little bit harder with that little bit extra detail in his artwork for that curriculum as well. Same curriculum, just variations for the age levels. So this is really essentially all of these things we can all do together because of the way that the curriculum is working for us, instead of us having to work and change everything just to suit the curriculum. That makes me so happy. I just really appreciate it when creators of curriculum think about the dynamics of a family and the fact that there's usually more than one kid in the family. There's usually more than two kids in a family. And the way that you can orchestrate that and create a curriculum to support that, rather than, making everyone have to do their one-on-one time and break up the day, and all of a sudden we haven't even really spent a lot of time together. That sucks. Like, I don't want that. I want to try and create, our days around hanging out together and just working together away at our work. Even if we have different abilities, that's okay. It is adaptable, and that's what we're trying to create here. So art is going to be a huge amount of fun. We're going to be doing a whole lot of different things, and it's all going to work around with this geography, which I think is just going to help with that engagement, that hands-on component that my kids really need. And I think that whenever you get paints or art and craft things into your hands, you kind of absorb the information a little bit more. That is definitely the case for my children, and that's going to be something that really helps us, especially with the idea that we're going to have around this by, cooking, making our food, while we're making our art, we're munching away on our food and hanging out together around the table and making a big old mess. It's going to be super fun. So nature study is also Blossom and Root. Can you believe it? It was all part of this bundle. And it is around our garden. It is around the seasons. We're going to be analysing the seasons, our seasons. She's broken it down in the way that, you know, it works with wherever you live. And what we can plant and how we plant it, and then some awesome projects. So we're going to be doing a worm farm. We're going to be planting bulbs and all sorts of wonderful things that I cannot wait to do. So that is going to give us a little bit of guidance, because we have found ourselves getting a little lost. We've had a few disasters in our veggie garden, which is really sad. We need help. So this is going to be fantastic for that. Actually, I have not got a book because it is really just a guide, and I have put that into Freely because I do not need to print that out. That's just a waste of paper. So I've put that guide into Freely, and I'm going to map out the activities. It's going to be one a week. It's going to be fairly basic and simple, and then we've got some little projects to work on as well. And so it's going to be very doable. So that is the curriculum choices that we have so far. Stay tuned for part 2, because I'm going to be taking you through the rest of the subjects that we have going on. We've got some really fun stuff I'm super excited about. In particular, I'm super excited about math, which is something I never thought I would actually ever say in my entire life. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that in the next video, part 2 of our curriculum choices. I hope that you enjoyed this. I definitely did. This is just like a good day for me. This is super fun to talk about. I could talk about these books and what I'm super excited about all day, but I won't, okay? I have written a list today because I knew I would make this video much longer than it needed to be. All you need to know is what we're doing. I get that. This is what we're doing so far. I can't wait to show you some more in-depth videos on especially Blossom and Root and how it works, because I think it is freaking genius it's genius for what it offers and the price point that it is, and the fact that it is definitely adaptable for multiple children. I think that is fantastic. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it maybe gave you some ideas and maybe some concepts of you know, thinking outside the box and perhaps bringing your kids together and approaching a curriculum, you know, an overarching curriculum with multiple children. It definitely can be done. I have done it before, and this is a little bit of a different approach, but I know that it does work, and it can really be super helpful on time and energy, and just giving you the ability to go deeper with the children together as well. Follow those rabbit trails, because you don't have to go and do that one-on-one time with that other child, then the other child, then the other child. You can actually let go and just enjoy the moment and let the kids show and reach the abilities that they are able to reach independently together. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss part 2 of our curriculum choices. And I'll see you in the next video.